I know you've been hurt. I know people have wronged you. I know that person that you gave your love to, your trust to, those walls that you put down for them, and they hurt you, they broke your heart. But I want to ask you a question. I don't want to know if you forgave them. I want to know, have you forgiven yourself? Have you learned to forgive yourself and say, hey, I'm allowed to make a mistake. Hey, because of that mistake, now I'm stronger, I'm better. You see, the issue is that you think that those mistakes define you. No, those mistakes build who you are. So the next time that you are feeling bad for yourself, remember something, that mistake is all the part of the plan to make you into a better person. Stay strong. And the number one thing I want you to take away from this video is to learn how to forgive yourself. The real relationship that you're missing in your heart is not of a human being. It's not of an actual person that you're trying to get back in your heart. The reason you feel empty, even when that person has left you, even when you have that person in your life, is because the real relationship that you're missing is a relationship between you and your Creator. That's what's truly missing. And until we don't truly establish our relationship with our higher power in our heart, we will always be empty. It doesn't matter if you find your soulmate. They will always do something wrong to you to mess with you, because nothing and no one can replace the position and the place of that Creator in your heart. Your heart belongs to them. And without your Creator having an established relationship in your heart, you'll go from relationship to relationship, toy to toy, whatever. But you'll never find true happiness and satisfaction, because your heart needs a link with this Creator. Anything else won't work. What are the signs that you are dealing with post-traumatic stress coming out of a relationship? So if you just broke up with your ex and you are constantly obsessed with them, you're constantly thinking, have they moved on? Who have they moved on with? You're always social media stalking them all the time. That's a sign that you're dealing with post-traumatic stress. And that's a sign that that's not only an unhealthy thing, but you need to take a step back and say, you know what? Let me fix me. When you are dealing with post-traumatic stress, the signs and the symptoms that your body is telling you as a signal that, listen, man, you need to fix something up because you're not right now. And instead of you listening to that signal, you just keep obsessing about them even more, stressing about them even more. No way. Take time to figure out who you are. Take time to figure out what triggers you to think about them. And take time to learn to love yourself, because that's what you need the most. If you're having trust issues, just know it's a sign that you're not healed yet. You see, often what happens is that we gave our trust to someone, and just like a child learning from how to protect themselves from burns and such, you got burnt or hurt by that person, so now you think that I can no longer trust people. The same way that you can no longer touch something that's hot on the stove because your hand will burn. That's wrong. The issue is that you trusted the wrong person. That doesn't mean trusting people is wrong. That means you got to be careful with who you trust. So if you have trust issues that you're finding it difficult to trust people in general, that's not healthy. What is healthy is making sure that you are putting enough red flags and making sure that a person's worthy of your trust and your love. But that comes from a lot of introspection and reflection within yourself and trusting the right people, but most importantly, trusting God. You can have everything in the world, but if you do not have a connection with Allah, you have nothing. If you don't have a connection with God, you are truly broke. You are poor. You are empty inside. So if you are feeling, why am I not fully satisfied? I have everything. I've been blessed with everything. I have a family. I have health. I have wealth. I have everything. Yet I'm still not satisfied. I keep looking for my self-love, my self-worth in others and other situations and in parties and in moments and in vacations. Yet it lasts for only this much and then it goes away. It's because true happiness comes from submitting your will to the Almighty. So if you really want to learn and figure out who you are, then figure out who your Creator is. Approach that situation and develop a link and connection with that Creator, because I'm here to tell you right now, that's the real reason you feel empty. One of the most unattractive features that your partner can have is being insecure. A lot of times we project our insecurities onto our partner. So if we have trust issues, automatically we start assuming that our partner is going to cheat on us or hurt us or harm us. Or if we've been abused or went through some harm, we assume that our partners are going to do that to us. So that makes us overprotective and that makes us super clingy onto them, because we have issues, and I want to advise everyone out there that if you have issues, stay away from a relationship. Sometimes you need to be in a relationship with yourself before you could be in a relationship with someone else. So if you are someone who is finding yourself from relationship to relationship to relationship, trying to find that self-love, self-discovery, it won't happen. All you're going to do is cause more pain and more trauma in your life. Get in a relationship with yourself and leave everyone else. Where you are right now doesn't determine or define where you're going to end up being. Whatever physical state you're in right now doesn't determine where you're going to end up being, or whatever emotional, mental, spiritual state that you're in right now doesn't determine where you're going to end up being. Whatever state you're in right now, even financially where you don't want to be, it doesn't define where you're going to end up, your circumstances, your environment, none of that nature versus nurture things. If you look forward, be positive about what's going to happen next, and just know and trust the plan of God, know everything will be okay, but it requires a lot of hard work. It requires you to put your head down and work and trust the plan of God. So with a lot of hard work and a lot of grace, everything is going to be fine. But just remember something, wherever you are right now doesn't define where you're going to end up being. If you have trust issues, that's a sign that you're not ready for a relationship. And that's okay. The sign is the fact that you're just not ready to be with someone else because you have trust issues. You are better off taking the time to develop yourself and become self-aware about why you have those issues and what's the trigger and what stems from those issues. Because if you don't do that, you're going to end up entering a relationship prematurely, and you're going to end up ruining that relationship and developing more trust issues. You see, trust issues is a sign that you have trust issues with yourself. You have lost trust in your own self. You have lost trust in your own judgment. Take the time to step away from all this. Meditate, self-reflect, and understand that you have to learn to trust yourself. And that comes first from loving yourself and developing a ton of self-esteem for yourself. The reason they're your ex is because they weren't good for you. They were toxic for you, and you yourself couldn't pull the trigger and make that decision. So it's funny that life has a way of simplifying it for us. The reason they're your ex is because they weren't good for your life. They weren't good for your spirit, and they weren't good for your hereafter. And what ends up happening is that because you love them so much, you care about them so much, and you're afraid to let them go because you're afraid of losing the time and the effort and the opportunities that you spent together, and maybe you won't find anyone better than them. Life has a way of making those tough decisions for you because they know that life understands that you can't make that decision. So if you have an ex that you're hurting for, just know it was for the best because they weren't good for you right now. Maybe they might be good for later on, but we can't wait that way. Open your eyes for new opportunities and new potential because someone's out there waiting for you. It's not your fault. It's just not. It's not your fault that it didn't work out. It's not your fault that he broke up with you. It's not your fault that you guys split up. It's just not. You're not broken goods. You're not damaged goods. There's nothing wrong with you. It just didn't work out because that's not the person you're supposed to be with. You see, sometimes we're unable to see the signs that are in front of us that show us that this person's not good for me. This person's not good for my life, yet we never take them. So life has to step in and get them to removed from your life. Listen to me. You're not damaged. There's nothing wrong with you. The fact that they broke up with you is life's way of showing you that they're not good for you. So take this for what it is. Work on healing yourself. Work on loving yourself through your own imperfections. But just remember, stop blaming yourself. It's not your fault, and you're not damaged goods. There's nothing wrong with you. I promise. If they left you, if they broke up with you, or they cheated on you, it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's that there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong in their heads. There's something wrong in their hearts. They're so blind that they couldn't see the best opportunity that was in front of them, that they became greedy. They thought that they can do better. But the truth is that they lost out. You're the best thing that would ever happen to them. But now that this has happened to you, you're thinking that no, there's something wrong with me. No, there's something wrong with them. The fact that you're so incredible, so trusting, so open to being vulnerable to them was a beautiful quality. Don't let one bad relationship deter you from being that awesome person. Don't become all cynical now and think that, oh, all people are bad. No, you're an awesome person. There's nothing wrong with you. everything will be fine. And guess what? Someone removed them from your life because they weren't good for you.
Everyone, stop what you're doing and pay attention real quick. Take your hands and make a circle just like this. Don't worry, it's not racist. Take this circle and place it directly on your chin. Now, for all of you that don't listen, this is your chin. You didn't respond to what you heard, you responded to what you saw. Next time you're in conversation, remember that your nonverbals speak volumes louder than your words.